Big breaking news that we're staying with here on India Today. The Indian Air Force will be addressing an open press conference in just about 30 minutes from now. India Today has got a confirmation from sources that the topic of this press conference is going to be squarely on the India-Pak air battle that was fought on the morning of February 27th, a day after India conducted unprecedented airstrikes in Balakot on Jaish-e-Mohammed terror camps. We're also given to believe that just days after the Indian Air Force, in an off-camera briefing, shared with journalists certain circumstantial evidence that the Air Force claims is proof that it shot down an F-16. We understand that the Indian Air Force has decided to take things to the next level, perhaps settle the debate once and for all, or at least try to settle the debate once and for all by sharing this data for the first time in public. India Today's reporters are going to be at that press conference, and that's the question we're asking. Is the Indian Air Force finally all set to put its cards on the table and release what it says is proof of shooting down an F-16? Is the Indian Air Force all set to settle all debates about what really happened on the morning of February 27th? Just to refresh people's memory, on February 27th in the morning, there was a big confrontation between fighter aircraft from Pakistan and fighter aircraft from India. Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartaman was shot down in his MiG-21 and captured. The Indian Air Force has credited Abhinandan with shooting down what it says was an F-16. There have been several reports, Indian and international, which have questioned the veracity of the Indian Air Force's claims. And now the ball is in the Indian Air Force's court. And that's where this press conference comes into the picture. I want to go across to India's defense editor, India Today's defense editor, Abhishek Bhalla, who's going to be at that press conference. Abhishek, all eyes on the Indian Air Force. You were at the off-camera briefing a few days ago, but this is going to be on camera and on the record.
Yes, Sheb, in about half an hour from now, the press briefing will begin. This is obviously going to be on camera. Everything will be on record, and for the first time, the Indian Air Force will put out the sequence of events of what happened on February 27. There has been claims and counterclaims by Pakistan that an F-16 was not shot down. We were presented with the evidence in form of intercepts that the Indian intelligence agencies had that suggested that there were two pilots, possibly even a third one, because there were eyewitness accounts that showed that there were three parachutes that were seen on that day. So there were conflicting views. The Indian Air Force has presented all the evidence possible to suggest that the F-16 was brought down, and most importantly, the big question still remains that Pakistan has not answered. Where is that second pilot who they claimed on the very first day on February 27 that they have in their custody? They said one was Abhinandan. They identified Abhinandan, and they said that another pilot who was injured was being treated in military hospital. But till date, we haven't heard on who that pilot was, about his identity or anything about related to him.
Abhishek, you were at that press briefing a few days ago, and I have your report in front of me where the Indian Air Force shared for the first time, of course, off camera, all manner of electronic and other evidence to support its claim that it shot down an F-16. Correct me if I'm wrong, Abhishek, but they basically showed you, a battle space imagery from an airborne warning and control systems radar. They also shared some transcripts of, communications between, Pakistan military units suggesting that more than one pilot had actually been apprehended. So can you tell our viewers a little bit more about what was shared? Because we're expecting that some of that may actually come out into the open today.
Yes, all of those things are likely to be put on record today. There were very specific details that were shared for the first time last week. These details included real-time imagery that suggested that there were where exactly the dogfight between Abhinandan and the Pakistani Air Force pilots took place. It was in an area called Subscope. It also showed that there were 11 F-16s that were pressed into action by Pakistan, and when Abhinandan's aircraft went down, in the same time period, just minutes before that, an F-16 that was showing on the Indian Air Force radars continuously, within 8 seconds, it went missing. The suggestion was that it was hit by Abhinandan, and that's when it went down. In addition to this, there were military intercepts where Pakistani army was discussing amongst themselves the sequence of events, and what it mentioned was repeatedly, in at least 3 intercepts that were presented to us, it said that there were at least 2 pilots. One was Abhinandan, as I said. The other was possibly a Pakistani pilot who Pakistan has not revealed the identity of.
Very interesting. Abhishek, we'll keep coming back to you. I know that you have to be inside because the press conference is happening inside the Ministry of Defence. So we will go across to Abhishek in a very short while from now. He's our reporter on the ground at the Indian Air Force's press conference. He'll be asking the Air Force some direct questions when they present whatever proof we're expecting them to present. Joining me also now in the studio here on 5 Live, we have Sandeep Punithan, Executive Editor, India Today Magazine, also Gaurav Sawant, Executive Editor, India Today TV. Gaurav, starting with you, the idea of an F-16 being shot down has become a matter of not just India-Pak debate, but global debate. There are magazines all across the world, all manner of magazines which have weighed in on India's claims of an F-16 being shot down. Many of those articles have yawning gaps in them. They, attribute these claims to unnamed Pentagon officials. They themselves have been embarrassed because the Pentagon has come out and said, we are not aware of any of these, F-16 head counts that are claimed to have been done by Pakistan. So right now, am I wrong in saying, Gaurav, that the ball is definitely in the Indian Air Force's court and they, in their wisdom, have seen it fit to still engage with this debate and come out with some proof?
Absolutely, Shiv. The conversation that was happening, the intercepts that have come in, they're very clear. There's also video evidence, and hopefully that video evidence will now be authenticated and put out by the Indian Air Force. Shiv, 2 aspects here. The conversation that was taking place between Pakistan's Northern Light Infantry, between one of their bases and one of their company commanders, they very clearly said, "Do parinde gire hain." Parinde is being seen as, birds or aircraft. और 2 परिंदे वाले नीचे उतरते देखे गए हैं. So 2 परिंदे वाले. So let's say if that one of those parinda walas is Wing Commander Abhinandan, who is the other one? That's point 1. Point 2, Pakistan Air Force spokesperson Major General Asif Ghafoor, he very clearly said one pilot is in the custody of the Pakistan Army. The other pilot has been taken to CMH or the Combined Military Hospital. Where is that second pilot? There were reports on ground that seemed to indicate that that second pilot was a Sikh. Was it because he was somebody who had a mustache and a beard?
Yes.
And in the patka that pilots sometimes wear, they thought that he was a turbaned Sikh officer and not a Pakistan Air Force F-16 pilot. So there are many of these theories that Pakistan has just desperately tried to brush under the carpet. Some of this will expose Pakistan today.
Okay, let's hope so. Let's see, because, Sandeep, whether we like it or not, this entire debate has been so completely surcharged with he said, she said, and not enough on-record claims by either side, that a press conference that is on camera and on the record is a very welcome thing, A. B, Pakistan's only on-record statements so far have been to say that they've shot down a Su-30, but very importantly, they have not for a moment, tried to address why they said 2 pilots, why they said 2 pilots, why they said CMH hospital mein zakhmi pilot ko bharti kiya gaya hai. They have not addressed those facts, and that's why the question still lingers.
Absolutely, Shiv. In fact, what we saw on the 27th of February was an air battle, and what we are seeing now, almost a month later, more than a month later, is a battle of narratives. Now, the Pakistani side came out with a whole lot of information the initial hours of the air battle, putting out this fact about multiple pilots being on the ground, and like Gaurav mentioned, one of them taken to the CMH.
Yes.
And they kind of stumbled and they, tied themselves up into knots without clarifying what they exactly, meant, and all the mistakes that they made. They just kept communicating, whereas our side the Indian side has been rather circumspect in the kind of briefings that they've given. There's exactly one briefing, if you remember, on the 27th, where
with the AMRAAM,
with the AMRAAM, with the fragments of the AMRAAM. So I think what we are going to see today is the Indian Air Force trying to make up for the lack of on-record briefings, on-camera briefings, which should, to my mind, have been done a long time back to settle this debate once and for all. And one indication that we get possibly of what could be coming out today is the fact that, the radar tracks, the radar signatures of the F-16 that Gaurav mentioned is possibly one, concrete proof that they could actually put out to say that yes, we did take an F-16 down. There is evidence of an F-16 radar track that went missing on the 27th. So that's very important, and to my mind, this whole debate should have been settled a long time ago.
Okay, it should have been settled a long time ago, but better late than never. The Indian Air Force still coming out and holding an on-record press conference, which is more than most other agencies have done. The Pakistan military has only been dependent on Major General Asif Ghafoor, who is the spokesperson of the Inter-Services Public Relations. He's basically the Pakistan's military spokesperson, and he will be most notably remembered, at least as far as this incident is concerned, for saying "do pilots." He has still said "do pilots," and then a very sheepish retraction on Twitter to say we have arrested only one pilot. So where is that second pilot? Nobody knows. Why did he say one pilot had been admitted in hospital? Nobody knows. Why is it that videos show multiple ejections? Pakistan does not want to address that issue. They are more interested in putting out dubious, ill-constructed photographs of missiles. They're more interested in suggesting that Indian Air Force has lost a Su-30. There is no circumstantial evidence. Forget about evidence. There is no circumstantial evidence of an Indian Su-30 being brought down. And unlike Pakistan, India is a country where such things can never ever be hidden. No matter where a crash happens, you can bet your last buck it will be reported. There are families that cannot be silenced. There is an institution, there is a system that cannot be silenced to hide something like an air force or an aircraft crash. The fog of war in a democracy means the truth somehow will come out. In Pakistan, things obviously are wired a little differently. This is a country that has demonstrated in the past that it is institutionally capable of hiding military losses. Gaurav, the Indian Air Force, for the Indian Air Force, this will basically be the second on-record press conference. Like Sandeep said, the first one, was where they displayed the famous press conference where they displayed the debris of that AIM-120 AMRAAM missile. In this particular press conference, it's taking place in South Block, not in Vayu Bhavan. This is obviously comes with the full backing of the government. It comes on the day when the BJP put out its manifesto as well. I wonder if there's any connection there that the Air Force, which held a briefing only a few days ago, has decided to hold this press conference on the day when the BJP came out with its manifesto, though I don't want to read too much into that. But as far as the he said, she said, the very vague nature of the debate, Gaurav, so far, the pressure is going to be on the Air Force to come out with something substantive today.
You're absolutely right, because Shiv, Pakistan has carried out a long battle when it comes to information warfare, when it comes to perception management. The Indian Air Force is speaking the truth, but it spoke that truth once and then there was silence. As far as Pakistan is concerned, it's speaking a lie 100 times. So when you speak a lie 100 times and then you get a foreign media to repeat those lies, then even within your own country there are elements who will end up believing those lies, even though Wing Commander Abhinandan himself said that he'd got a lock on to the Pakistani F-16. The fact that the radar caught the F-16, the blip just disappeared from the radar, the fact that the AWACS and the other radar on ground caught that F-16 going down, the fact that there are visual evidences of a parachute opening up some distance away at Subscourt, some distance away from where Vinko Abhinandan's parachute opened and came down. There are so many pieces of, there are so many dots. It remains to be seen whether today the Indian Air Force will join those dots.
Well, all eyes on the Indian Air Force, and remember 5:30 is when that press conference is scheduled to begin. The Air Force curiously has said that there won't be a live broadcast, but we will try and do that. We're trying to get permission for a live broadcast. So 5:30 p.m. right here on India Today, you will get all the facts live of what the Indian Air Force's press conference is all about. Sandeep and Gaurav continue.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.